folks can support you at nicholslive@aol.com, at your PayPal there, as you obviously are working hard against the New World Order. Just briefly here, I wanted to get you to pop in. We'll get you back on later in the week or next week for a full hour. What do you think about the debate last night?
Oh, Alex, it was kind of a nothing for what I had hoped we were going to have. But the good news is that Trump was on his game, certainly in the first 20, 30 minutes. And the way that debate's going to break out is it's going to break out the 40% that love Hillary, they think she won. The 40% that hate Hillary or love Trump, they'll think he won. The 20%, that very important 20% that don't care, they probably watched, if they watched it all, Alex, maybe 20 minutes of it till the ball game started. So then they pulled out.
And that's exactly what they're saying, is that that 20% started to come over to Trump. Do you think that's accurate?
You know, let me tell you, after 30 years of Hillary Clinton, this is the battle they're fighting. After 30 years, if people are not committed to Hillary, they're not going to get there. They're not going to get there. If Trump just don't step on his foot, if he just plays straight and plays smart. Now, I was disappointed last night, Alex. You know, they had asked me, I had sent them stuff that they, Trump could have used to draw Hillary into one of her fits of rage. But they didn't, and he should have. He should have.
And by the way, he paused and said, I had a lot of stuff that I was going to bring out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, the thing that was significant, Alex, was what you and I have been trying to say to everybody since day one. It'd be one thing if Donald Trump was running against Hillary Rodham Clinton. That'd be one thing. But he's running against Hillary. He's running against the mainstream media. He was running against the moderator. I mean, you talk about David and Goliath. He was up, he was.
So isn't that why he probably really won, is they overdid it and showed their hand?
Let me tell you, one of the TV networks did a thing where they pulled in 20, quote unquote, non-committed people. And then at the end of the debate, they asked them, now, after this debate, who would y'all vote for? And 18 of them said Hillary. Now, Alex, you and I have been around long enough, maybe the audience hadn't.
That's staged.
The chances of that network pulling in 20 people that were really middle of the road, didn't care, is none. The Clintons chummed that audience. I'm surprised they even let 2 people say that they were for Trump. But that was all rigged. Everything you see today, folks, please, I beg you.
Oh, CNN admits they sampled almost double more Democrats in their 500-person poll than they did Republicans. I mean, that's totally skewed right there.
It's skewed before we get said, folks, everything you see on the mainstream is a lie. When they talk about fact-checking Trump, you notice they didn't fact-check Hillary that much.
They fact-checked Trump 40-plus times and her 6 times.
Well, let me tell you, you want to fact-check Hillary, start with the first time she opens her mouth till the last time she closes it.
The only time she told the truth was saying, I'm going to come after your guns extrajudicially.
Yep. And listen, Alex, I heard you talking about, what's his name, getting pulled off the air.
Michael Savage, live on air.
Michael Savage. Alex, you and I have been talking about this day coming for years and years. And I know sometimes people say, well, y'all talk about it, but it never happened. Yes, it does happen, but it takes time to materialize.
Oh, it's happening right now. I've got them circling around us right now.
Oh, you bet. And let me tell you, come October 1st, folks, it's going to be hard to get news on the internet.
And let's talk about that. But let's just remember, they're bold enough to spend $600 million in the last year alone to try to get cop killing operations going. We're dealing with hardcore criminals. Everybody better decide which side they're on.
I got tickled last night hearing Hillary talk fondly of her dad's little business making draperies. Did I miss something? And I got this from Bill Clinton. One of the reasons Bill told me he married Hillary was because of her dad, Hugh Rodham. And I said, why, Bill? And he said, well, don't you know? And I said, no, I really don't. He said, well, after Al Capone, Hugh Rodham and Dan Rostenkowski took over the Chicago mob. They were running the Chicago mob. And she says he was just a little drapery maker.
And that's why Hillary always has such a penchant for getting her enemies killed, is because she's Chicago Mafia.
That's wwhy, yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, folks don't even know that, like, the top families in Texas were all the former Al Capone heads. I mean, they don't understand that Capone ran the whole country. And people just don't know that.
They don't know it, and that's what's killing us, Alex. There is a huge group of people, I guess you call them the millennials. I'm trying to live long enough to tell them. But there's a large group of people, Alex, that don't know the Clintons, and the media's doing extra overtime to make sure people don't know the truth about Bill Clinton and his time in office, that don't know the truth about Hillary. You know, Trump said he felt, he didn't do it because he didn't want to do it in front of Chelsea. My God, what about the women Clinton raped that I covered up for him over? What do you think about those women and their lives?
Oh, I know. I love when he was talking about how he's mean to women. I mean, he could have just come right back with, you're going to tell me about being mean to women with all the stuff you've done, how you covered for Bill? I don't know why he didn't go after her.
Well, and I certainly don't know why he didn't at least bring up the point that when guys like Larry Nichols and these women were coming out back during your husband's administration, if you care so much about women and women's issues, why did you personally lead the bimbo eruption?
All right, let's talk about what you expect to happen next. What he should do in the next debate. We got 41 days to the election. Larry Nichols is our guest. I'll see if we can say a little bit the next hour. Then I promise your calls. All the
thing to change at all. If you want to continue with the kind of cronyism that we see
and all the other censorship going on, I mean, clearly we're entering an end game. What else are you watching for, Larry?
Well, the main thing I'm watching for is what I've told you before. We're at the actual beginning of the end, and they're closing the loop. They're closing it in tight. And what they're going to do to Trump is going to be terrible. I mean, they're just going to load up on him like you've never seen. Now, if Trump were smart, what he would do, if they're going to do This Is Your Life, going back to Trump's past, he has somehow, Alex, got to shift it on. Hey, you want a real screwed up past? Look at Bill. Look at Hillary. I mean, you've got every kind of crime committed during his administration as governor, every kind of crime committed during his administration with Hillary right there beside him during his presidential administration, so much so that he was impeached. It's amazing. Nobody even brought up the word Hillary. Do you realize your husband was impeached? But they don't bring it up. They don't bring it up. So Trump's got to get himself gathered up. And he's got to try to win that 20% by trying to get that 20% to know the real truth about the Clintons. If let me just tell you something that hurt really bad. When they had the riots and the shooting in North Carolina, the world ended for Hillary. The world ended because as of that moment, all of the stuff about emails, all of the stuff about her health just went away. It just went away. And now she's starting out clean all over again.
That's right, and he's got to bring it back. I would have said over and over again, listen, Hillary, you've been part of the power structure. You set up this mess. You're the one that sold the country out. I represent change. Very simple, over and over again. She gets all the big money from the special interest. I get none of it. I'm a populist. You have nothing to lose. Vote Trump.
Well, and I'm going to give you all something to really believe in. This is true. Something that you can believe in, I guess the best way to say it. Hillary has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising. Trump has spent virtually nothing in comparison. Yet they are technically tied. Now, what you're going to see, Alex, coming up in the next 46 days, or how many days there are, you're going to
41.
see 41. You're going to see massive polling manipulation, just like you were talking about.
They're going to put all these fake polls to make it look like he's slipping.
Yep. I mean, and it's all going to come together just like it always does with the Clinton plan, the one that I helped put together for them.
The broken coalition strategy.
You bet. There it is. Look,
Larry, stay there. Larry, let me do 5 more minutes with you. Then I promised all the callers I'm going right to you, then all the clips, and then Paul Watson. History is happening. We'll be right back on the other side. Understand, though, even if Trump loses, and I believe he's going to win, we win by injecting real issues and nationalism and exposing the globalists. Stay with us. Hour number 3, straight ahead. Leslie and Matt and Terry and Sean and everybody else. And I've got a bunch of clips. We're going to start getting into them in the next segment as well. But, Larry, I mean, this thing where CNN, I covered it in the last hour, the stories on infowars.com, sampled 40-something% Democrat and then 26% Republican. Here's the actual numbers. 41% of the people they sampled were Democrats, 26% Republicans. Then they've also been caught calling independents that are really Democrats, so the sample's even bigger. They did that to give her a 60-something% win. Every other poll showed her way behind. So explain this to me, because you've been on the inside of this. They had more accurate polls up to the RNC. He gets 10, 15 points ahead. Then they put out a bunch of fake polls. You can go to the methodology and see that it's fake, and they're panicking. And then all of a sudden, he surges back, even against fake polls. That would mean he's probably 10, 15 points ahead. Or correct me if I'm wrong. So why ever ease off the fake polls if they were working? Because they did narrow the gap and create some perception. Why not keep the polls going all the time? Or is he really just way ahead of her?
Well, Alex, what happens? Well, first, let me finish what I was saying. The thing to believe in is exactly that she spent hundreds of millions, he spent virtually nothing, and they're technically dead heat if he's not even ahead. So that ought to tell you, Alex, you and programs like yours have just done an incredible job to absorb the people out there that know something's wrong. Now, remember the 20%, here's what the Clintons know. They know that 20% in about 10 days is going to start making its mind up. Most of them, believe it or not, will make it up about a week before the campaign and before the election. And what they always do, what you can count on, is they're going to go, the undecided or don't care people, they're going to vote with the last poll they see, and because they don't like to think, Alex, that they're wasting their vote.
They want to bet on a winner.
You got it. There it is. And then Hillary's problem, you mentioned the broken coalition. The broken coalition is something we set up years ago, realizing that the blacks didn't have enough votes to win, the queers didn't have enough to win, the hippies, but when you put them all together, you got enough to win. Well, Hillary was soft with the blacks. They don't like her. They're not turned on by Hillary. And that was what was scaring them. Well, out of the blue comes Charlotte, North Carolina, and they're going to use it to galvanize the blacks, you see. Now, I'm not saying they caused it. I'm just saying.
Sure, absolutely. But I mean, that's what Soros admits in his emails. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, Soros is paying these agitators to come into these places when these things occur.
Oh, they admit we have video. It's buses come in.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. If they can fire up the black community over this White Lives Matter, whatever, if they can fire them up, they're hoping they can motivate them, Alex, to come out and vote at least.
Can't the American people break through the mind control and see the rigging? I mean, I think that happened. Polls show that he's actually boosted by this debate.
The thing that's happening, Alex, that I've been waiting for years. In America, we've got a problem. We don't seem to get energized or get involved until something hits us in the pocketbook, personally. Well, it's hitting people now. People are seeing it. It's real. It's in their bank account or it's not in their bank account. So more and more people are waking up and saying something's not right. They haven't been attentive, so they don't know what it is exactly, but they know something's not right.
And InfoWars and Drudge and Savage and you and others are there. So we're getting big. The old media is dying, and they're panicking, right, and they want to shut us down. So if they just shut Savage off, I guess I'm next, huh?
You will be. You will be, Alex. And I'm worried about October 1st for you. That's what I worry about.
Yeah, let's talk about that and go to phone calls when we come back. They are handing us over to the internet, and they say that the censorship's already massively increasing. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. They're going to misrepresent that next week, say that we said, oh, look, the internet's still here. They said it wouldn't be. You watch. You will hear that next week. You watch. It's like a punch in the stomach this morning. I got up and learned he was taken off WABC, and then he complained about it. He was criticizing Hillary's health, saying, I think she's got Parkinson's. There's emails that say she's getting Parkinson's medication. I mean, her own email. They took him off WABC, and then he complained about it on air. They took him off 400 plus other stations. And, this is personal to me because he was just on air with us last week on Skype. I mean, right here in the studio on that TV. I was talking to him during the breaks. And he was really, I wasn't trying to eavesdrop even before he got on during a 3-minute break, but he was talking in front of us, about what was going on to his assistant. And then he brought it up to me, and I'm just sitting there hearing this. And so it's not like even cool. You know, it's like upsetting. This is military stuff. This is real. This is our country in trouble with controlled media. And Dr. Drew being fired for daring say Hillary needs help in a loving way. This is dangerous. This is dangerous when the press goes along with this and is like, yay, Michael Savage is off the air. Yee, yippee, woo. We're all in lockstep screwing over everyone. Oh, they're getting ready to take your bank accounts, to ditch the dollar. They're gearing up for martial law, admittedly. They're bringing in the most hardcore, dangerous jihadis. Definitely a sleeper cell invasion. And I'm just sitting back now going, I think stuff's worse than I even thought. They're just announcing you're not going to have cars within 5 years. We're going to take all these big roads and make them driverless car only and ha, ha, ha. And I've got an article here. I'm going to pull it out. Hillary has 99+% of big corporate giving. It's never before happened. The billionaires and the elite are giving nothing to Trump. I mean, that is the certification of he's our man. You don't like this ruling class? These people are throwing the kitchen sink at Donald Trump right now. I don't know. They're both bad. And exactly what Larry Nichols just said. I'm going to your calls. 20% don't care who gets in. They want to feel like they're a winner. Like when you know your team's going to the Super Bowl and they've got better odds to win, and so you go out and buy a jersey. In fact, they were never your team. You just want to feel like you're a winner. These people are horrible. And there's a sick side of me that sits back and goes, I'm not stupid. I'm going to be pretty much okay in this situation, no matter what happens, because I know what's going on. The only danger I'm in is trying to save all these idiots. I can go off and just run a moral business somewhere and make more money than I make now. I mean, I can do it. I've proven it. I've been paid $800,000+ for one voiceover. I mean, I can do cartoons, movies, you name it, I can do. I'm not bragging, but I can walk away right now. And I can do national voiceovers and have no employees, but I don't do it because it's totally empty. But then I look at snot-nosed, arrogant people that don't care attacking me and our guests and people that are valiantly fighting and just sitting there like everything's a big joke, and it makes me want to throw up. We're going to James and Leslie and Matt and Terry and Sean right now. I'm going to skip this network break so we have more time to get to everybody in this segment, because who knows, there may be a show soon. I mean, I'm being honest with you folks. This country's in a lot of trouble right now, and it's so real now, it's almost like a joke. It's like I'm up there at the gallows with a rope around my neck, and the public's, picking their nose out there, thinks it's all funny when they're going to be marched up here next. At a certain point, it's just like, wow, this really sucks. But the good news is we've pushed them so hard, they're having to pull people off the radio because they know Trump's really way ahead of Hillary. And we forced them to talk about election fraud. They said it didn't exist, and a month later said it's the worst thing in the world. The Russians are taking over. We've got to federalize everything. I mean, we've got these crooks panicking, but they are crooks that are used to doing whatever they want. I mean, you look at Hillary and you look at Obama, they are Chicago Mafia. And let me tell you, the Chicago Mafia is the worst there is. The sex slavery, the little kids, the stuff they do, and that's who runs us, is people that just hate you. I'm sorry, Larry, just briefly comment. I promise to go to calls, but just, I mean, I'm all over the map here. It's just like, we're here. It's happening. People say it's never going to happen. It's happening all over. The UN's taking over the internet in 4 days, brother. Can you bring Larry Nichols back up, please? Are we losing? He's open. He must have stepped away while I was
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
I mean, they're taking over, Larry. I want to go to these calls, but I mean, other points you want to add, the UN takeover.
Alex, we're in trouble deep. And the only thing that I would tell everybody listening to our voices right now, they can't take this country from us. They're going to steal it. And every one of you listening to me, I'm fighting, you know that, Alex. I'm fighting to be here long enough on this planet to be able to fight in this thing. They're going to take it from us, but we've got to fight. And the first thing that everybody's got to learn is don't let them shut your mouth. Don't let them shut your mouth. By that, I mean, don't let them keep using political correctness on you so that when you're talking to others, you're afraid to tell the truth.
Get out of the comfort zone or die.
That's right. Now, you know, guys, I'm telling you, I've been telling you, but if you can't see it now, you're just not looking. They're coming after us. They're coming after us. Now, that sounds scary and all crazy right-wing nut stuff. Look, open your eyes. Look, Michael Savage, they, like you're saying, they just yanked him off the air. They have the power to yank any of us off of anything. They have the power to come to your house and arrest you for any cause they want to come up with.
And by the way, Savage is a big test right now.
And to see if there's going to be any retaliation. Sure enough, they're going to see what the people will do. And what scares me is I'm afraid a lot of people are just going to switch channels and go to some other program.
That's right. They don't appreciate the fact that this is an absolute war.
That's right. And dear God, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do, Alex.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's the nastiness. You know, Hillary. I mean, why are they so evil? Why do they hate everybody?
Let me tell you one thing.
Why do they do the worst stuff to the black communities and then sit there saying they love them? I mean, it's so sick.
Well, let me tell you, it goes back to a Christmas gift I got. The first election I worked with Bill Clinton, getting him elected governor. When it was over, I thought he'd give me a Cadillac because there was no way. He called me, said he wanted me to come over. He had a special present for me, and I thought the man was going to give me a Cadillac because it was quite a deal to get him elected. I got there, and what I had told Bill all during the campaign is to read the book Mein Kampf. And in that book, it proves that if you tell the same lie over and over and over long enough, and that's the only thing that gets out, it becomes true.
So you gave him My Struggle by Adolf Alois Hitler.
Yeah. Well, actually, he gave me, for my big Christmas gift for getting him elected the first time, he gave me an autographed copy of that book, and I needed it like a hole in the head. I'd rather have had the Cadillac, but...
Wow, he gave you a signed one by Adolf Hitler?
No, well, no, signed by him.
Oh, that's worse, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what they're doing to us now, Alex. That's what's happening. That's why the black community is so susceptible to all of this. They just keep hearing it.
They've been programmed from birth.
That's right. And think about it, guys. If you think I'm not telling you the truth about this, look at Black Lives Matter. The whole premise in Ferguson for the Black Lives Matter, you know, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot. All of that turned out to prove to be a lie. But you can't convince the blacks on the street today.
Just like it's a black guy shooting the black guy with the black police chief in a Democrat-run city. And why didn't they pick to riot over the innocent black guy shot in Tulsa? Because that lady got indicted. They want bad cases so they can keep it going forever while they discredit the black people on top of it. Man, they're evil.
And then you look at the guy that was in Seattle, the guy that killed 5 people. They said he was from Turkey. Well, yeah, Muslim. You know, you're looking at a Muslim, and guys, I'm telling you, the minute I saw his picture, I told several people.
And that's how they're going to get the guns. They're going to have hundreds of sleeper cells start killing people at the malls, and they won't say none of them are Muslims, just like they wouldn't say the bombings in New York were, you know, a bombing, and then they're going to end up taking our guns. That's
exactly right, and that's why it's incumbent on every one of us, not just you, Alex, not just me. It's incumbent on every person hearing my voice. You're the only way we're going to spread the truth. They're going to keep choking down any alternative information sources. Let's pray that Alex stays around a little longer. They're going to keep choking them down. You've seen it now with Mike Savage. That's for real. They did it. They yanked him off. So the only way we're going to spread it is from us, person to person.
And I want to say this, and we got to go to the calls. They've been real troopers. This broadcast, the films we've made, the videos we put out, what you've done, and other great patriots, they're evergreen. We don't just cover some story of the day and then move on. It's about understanding the larger system. If people save this on computers, save it on hard drives, save it on disk, they admit the new system, they're going to be able to erase all our stuff off the web. But let me tell you, in the future, you have friends over when this country's really deep in it, and you show them what we said years before and it comes true, it'll be like gold. Okay, and I don't want to get to that point, but that's, quite frankly, I've studied history. That's why we just get stronger, the stronger the enemy gets, even if I'm long gone or in a gulag. Long after Larry's gone, folks, if the enemy gets its programming in, this will be absolute kryptonite to them. That's why you got to save this data and spread it, Larry.
Yeah, remember, Alex, what did Hitler do? He burned all the books. What did Pol Pot do in Cambodia? I was there, I know. What he did is anybody that could read, anybody that had any knowledge, he killed them. That's what they're going to do here, Alex. They're going to do everything. When they get control of the internet, they're not just going to take people off. They're going to erase history. And that's what you've got to preserve.
And that's history. What the cloud can do. That's why they all want you on it. They can hit one button and release a program that will erase my voice or Larry's voice off of entire giant networks.
That's right. And you'll have hell proven that we ever existed. Ever. Remember, Alex, this millennial generation that we're talking about nowadays, do you realize that's the first complete generation? The first, what they call the complete generation. It has not touched the way America used to be. Alex,
they've not climbed trees. They've not been in a fist fight. They've not kissed a girl under the apple tree. They just sit there plugged into TVs.
That's it. You and I, our parents were connected to the way things used to be in America. They were connected to their parents. Our grandparents lived the American life that we thought we would all have. The millennials have never seen one word of it. And plus, they're being socially engineered throughout all of the schooling to where now when they come out of college, Alex, they know nothing about education.
Their identity is to hate Western civilization.
You betcha. They don't know what communist. Look, the majority of the votes cast in the Republican and Democratic primaries, the majority of the votes cast in that election were for an announced socialist and Hillary a progressive, which is a simple word for communist. And more people voted for it because you know what? They don't know what communism is. I had a young guy tell me, well, that's just an old horror, that's just
let me tell you, I always see rich college kids in Mercedes, you name it, with all the trappings of capitalism, and they'll be wearing, mouse shirts or hammers and sickles, or they got tattoos of it on them, and they just like it because they know it's evil and they think it's got power. And well, countries.
Well, Alex, it is confusing, but stay the course. Buddy, when you and I met in the 90s, I bet you never dreamed you would have the impact and the audience size that you have today.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's not fun. That's what's so ridiculous. These people that think
you'll remember what I told you, be careful because you might get what you want and you get to be a Larry Nichols. And it is not fun to be a target, and you are one. You are one.
Well, it's not even being a target I'm tired of. I'm tired of the public being so weak, and just letting themselves be run over because they think they can be delusional and decide they're not getting raped, but they are getting raped, and it's just mind control, and it's sick. Let's go to calls. You guys have been real troopers. In fact, I'm going to send every person on here, if they want it, a free Hillary for Prison shirt.
And you sent me one of those, Alex.
I will, and free bumper stickers go with all of them. We're about to phase this out. And I guess just go to Hillary the Dictator shirts, but I guess we'll be shut down by then. So that's just the way America is now, I guess. Let's everybody on here, give us your info. We will send you a free Hillary for Prison shirt or a bottle of colloidal silver from InfoWarsLive.com, whatever your choice is. Please, I know that's a lot of work for you, John, but if you'll get their addresses or give them, I don't want to. We should have some kind of free stuff email so people can send their email and who they were. But there's no way to confirm that. Just get their address. And I appreciate it. Everybody's been holding more than an hour, which is everybody on here. James in South Carolina, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, I'm going to start with, I want to plug your Living Defense. I am a disabled father of 7. I suffered from heartburn, excessive gas, just constant pressure. I bought your Living Defense. I live on a disability pension, so I have to make every penny count. I bought your Living Defense while it was on sale. Oh, my gosh. I love it. 3 days, taking it like it says on the bottle. It goes away for months. Okay. Now, the first couple callers, I agree with them about the Fourth Amendment. I'd kind of like to hear Trump walk that back. Now, that being said, listen to what Clinton said. She has a plan to fight ISIS on the internet. ISIS doesn't scare me on the internet. She has no plan to fight ISIS on the internet. She has a plan to bind the tongues of people like you, people like Matt Drudge, people like me, people like Larry Nichols. They want to bind our thoughts. They want to quarantine our thoughts, and that's the most dangerous, sickening thing. And you people want to nitpick Trump. And look,
that's right. He should have brought up the alt-right. I mean, she's saying she said in a fundraising letter, Larry, a month ago, that we have no right to exist. That is literal Nazi terminology.
Yeah, it is. And that's what she believes, Alex. She has believed that since the day I met her. I've told you the story about meeting Hillary the first time. That's who she is. And she can dress up. They can put makeup on her. They can try to make her look like better than she does.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, but it is not. The real Hillary Clinton is the one that stood there in that hearing sentence, or the hearing on Benghazi, and said, "What, they're dead. What difference does it make?" And I've seen her be that way about many people close to her that have died. She don't care. They don't care about nothing.
Well, here's the, I'm not a hateful person, but let me tell you, there is a God, there is a devil, and Hillary Clinton's going straight to hell. I don't normally talk about that with people, but I think it's fair to say she is a demonically controlled person.
Well, you know, Alex, I've told you before, and I never really put anything into it until more recent. You know, I used to have to cover for her to go out to L.A. with Linda Bloodworth Thomas to go to a witch's church. Now, I don't know what a witch's church does, but she told me she was just covering both bases. But I believe she's made her mind up which one she wants to go with. And that sounds horrible.
No, well, you think you're the only one that knows that, and I'm not stealing your thunder. Actually, I've seen it in a L.A. newspaper, but it was positive that she was at a coven and that she would travel out there and spend weeks with witches. So,
That's right. And you would have been me having to cover up for that. In Arkansas in the 70s and 80s. I mean, that was tough. We're in the 80s.
Imagine you're right in the middle of the Bible Belt, and meanwhile, you've got a black witch right there, just drunk on blood. Thank you, James. God bless you for the support in your family. We'll be right back with Sean, Terry, Matt, Leslie, straight ahead.
On the march.
I'll give him a shirt. You'll send him some living defense.
Alex
he gets everything.
And the GCN radio.
And I saw Trump walked out with a blue tie. I'm like, is he sending a message?
Yes, he's sending a message that he's with the Democrats, and then she was wearing red.
Yeah, it really confused me. And then I continued through in the debate. I'm like, why is he babying this debate? Why is he just babying this debate? Why he just don't hit her? And when she talked about ISIS, I was expecting him to hit her real hard. I expected her to shiver, shake, and fall.
Well, here's how I know Trump's for real. I've watched him on people that have known him for years, 40 years, and I know about the family. I'm going to stop right there. I know for a fact, okay, that his sons listen to the show, especially Donald Jr., know what's going on. Trump's for real. They always wear red or blue ties. A lot of times Republicans wear them. I think they probably did say to psychologically get Democrats to vote for you, wear the blue. I don't think it was, hey, I'm really on your team, but go ahead.
But, okay. I listened to him, but in the end, I don't know if I heard right when he said, I will support you if you win. Did he really say that, or am I hearing wrong?
I missed that. We've got a whole crew that was here. I was covering it live, but half the time my head was spinning, literally. He did say, he said, I'll support you if you win.
Did he say that?
Yeah, that's right, because that was actually in the news. And I think it's all for him to look conciliatory, and so he can look big. But
no, you don't play with vipers in their pits, Alex. You don't play with vipers in their pits.
No, I hear you. I think that he was basically showing people that he could be nice and friendly for her supporters that think he's a demon. And they say he's surging in the polls because of it. Time will tell. But look, her expiration date is over. She looked like an insane person. I mean, look at the image on screen. She walks around with this fake smile like this. In fact, let me try to get it right on TV. Here it is. I mean, they'll pause it and make fun of me, but I don't care. Here it is. She looks like a great white shark cresting out of the water. But I hear you, Leslie. I mean, what else do you think about the situation now? I mean, he didn't bring up Benghazi. That's bad.
Oh, No, he should. You see, I think if he hit Hillary with the truth, you will see Hillary start shivering, shaking, and pop.
I agree. I don't think she could have taken it for 90 minutes if he'd have taken it to her. She looked at him at first like begging that he wouldn't go after her. I appreciate your call. I want to get Larry's take on what you just said. But first, I've got to start getting to some of these clips. And ma'am, stay on hold. I'm going to send you a free Hillary for President t-shirt or colloidal silver, whichever you wish, for holding over an hour. Let's go to the clip of him during the debate saying that he's glad, that he didn't go after her with some of the stuff he had, even though she was being nasty. So I think he was trying to be the big guy there. It was very clear. That's what he was telling us. Here it is.
You want to know the truth? I was going to say something extremely rough to Hillary, to her family, and I said to myself, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's inappropriate. It's not nice. But she spent hundreds of millions of dollars on negative ads on me, many of which are absolutely untrue. They're untrue and they're misrepresentations.
And then he went on further to describe it on Fox and Friends, but he also described it after the debate in a little bit more detail. Let's play that clip after the debate with Donald Trump on the floor.
Anything that you wish you did differently?
No, I'm very happy that I was able to hold back on the on the indiscretions with respect to Bill Clinton, because I have a lot of respect for Chelsea Clinton, and I just didn't want to say what I was going to say, and which is I'll tell you maybe at the next debate.
Yeah, so I think he's setting it up now where people are going to demand he come out of the gates, and now he'll have cover to really savage her. He's very sophisticated. Larry Nichols, I don't want to doubt Donald Trump here. Again, we have 41 days. We're going to discover this. But what is your gut as an old hand and the guy that used to pretty much run the Clintons when they first got into office? What do you think?
Well, I think they set him up to do just what he did by the way they went after that birther stuff. I think he was put in a situation. I mean, I wish he would have hit her on it. However, you got to realize how structured that event was, where the moderator and Hillary were together. They had already set him up for that birther thing. So if he'd have come out against Bill, then they would have gone, yeah, see, here he goes again. Here he goes again.
And by the way, a lot of people are thinking Lester Holt and her had actually been on the phone or scripted this. It looked very scripted.
Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I've done enough of these things to know a true debate where you have an independent moderator, that was not.
All they say is you have 3 minutes, you have 1 minute. They don't say anything.
Right. Well, you've got to understand, up until Obama, with what that lady's name was, I don't even remember the big lady, but up until that point, moderators did not interject and do fact-checking. That's absurd.
That's right. No, they had Candy Crowley come in with her BS fact-checking.
Right. So that's what you've got to watch now. This is how this whole thing has changed, Alex. I mean, it's all changed now. Now you've got, as being Donald
Think about
Trump,
it. The media sits there.
And you got to fight the moderator.
Exactly. It doesn't. In fact, they've ended debates in America because we don't have real debates anymore because you have a moderator that gets in the ring 40-plus times against Trump and then leaves Hillary completely alone.
That's right. I mean, it'd be just like a boxing match, right?
Yeah, he should have gone after Holt then. He should have gone after Holt. He should have after Holt halfway and said, Holt, am I debating Hillary or you? Or is it both of you? You want to come up here?
Well, it's not the job in a debate, in the school of debating. You can check it out for yourself. It's not the job of a moderator to intercede in the debate at all, doing any fact-checking or any checking. That's not his job.
Absolutely.
It's the opponent's job. But this is how they've changed the whole thing, Alex. That's why it's so hard to beat the Clintons. They have literally changed the whole
That's right. Let's go to
political
Sean.
System.
Let's go to Sean in Florida. You're on the air. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, Jay.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, bud. Listen, yeah, I'm really pissed off. I mean, I'm a Democrat for 28 years. I got to commend you, and I got to commend Larry Nichols of the Clinton Chronicles. I believe he sued the Clintons. He got out of that mess because he knew it was wrong, and I give him kudos for that. You, brother, you're like in the crosshairs, but you are on the tip of the spear for sure. Listen, let me get this off my chest real quick. On CBS News, you go right now on YouTube. It's got like 6 million views. It shows Lester Holt
checking like his mic because he couldn't hear, and he kept, it's on there. You can see it. And I looked on Drudge Report days before, and they said no ear pieces at all for the moderator. It was against the commission, and they went through it and ruled it out that he wasn't allowed to have an earpiece. It's totally ridiculous. We're in cuckoo land big time. This is absolutely absurd. He was being forced stuff, to ask Donald Trump questions and try to fact check.
Well, did you notice he looked mad at the end and ran off?
See that part, but I was watching while you guys were talking on your live stream and C-SPAN, while this whole thing was going on. And it's absolutely absurd when they say, when they can get away with this, that the moderator's not supposed to have an earpiece. No ear communication whatsoever. Go back and look it up under Drudge. It's totally pathetic. And this is
sure, we'll look into that. But Larry, I think that is the boomerang here. The total rigging, Hillary being given passes, Trump being nice, Holt still ganging up. I think it is the rigging, the clear unfair playing field. I think that is the dark horse in all this that just blew up in their face.
Well, absolutely. But I'll say this about Trump. Trump has got to understand this is going to happen to him and use it. Use it. And he didn't. He's got to say things to Hillary that are damning as hell, but they're true, and they cannot be disputed by even a friendly moderator.
And sir, I want you to get back to that, but I want to go back to Sean.
Just right. The caller's right. He was getting cues from a researcher that was covering that thing as it was going on.
Let me say it all just came together. I remember the article. It said that the commission said no earpieces, confirmed last week. That was final for the moderator so that they, quote, wouldn't be getting cues, because it's famous that the media will jump on. It's come out and told people who are reporters to attack Trump on CNN, MSNBC. But let's put the article up on screen. We just found it. That is confirmed that they said that there would not be any earpieces for the moderators. But then they asked, what about the candidates? And the commission refused to answer that question and said, we'll only do that basically if we're sued. We're not going to release that information. Very bizarre. And then I remember I'm getting ready. Holt's about 3-4 minutes late getting on. And I'm saying they're working on his earpiece. I could see them. He took his jacket off, just like I'm wearing one. They took his jacket off, and then they put the earpiece on. I watched it on that TV set 8 feet from me. We've got to go back to last night. Guys, it'll be at like, let me think. It'll be at about 8:03 or 8:02 into the tape. Try to find it right now, folks. You will see where I go, look, he's getting an earpiece put on. Look, his earpiece isn't working. And they come in front of everybody, take his jacket off, put the earpiece, clip it to the back of his collar, just like mine is. And mine goes into the control room. Boy, I wish somebody would tell me what to say, but they're in there, tell me when the guest is ready, the guest's phone doesn't work, whatever. But in this case, Holt wasn't supposed to have it, but he did. This is a major scandal. So great point, Sean. I'm glad you point that out. This is cloud cuckoo land. Larry Nichols, go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Alex. It's virtually impossible to go into these debates. That's what I tried to tell Trump's people. You can't go into these debates straight up. It's rigged. It's rigged. And it's rigged at every, Trump should have seen that with the headpiece. He should have stopped the debate right then. Now, you want to win president? Do stuff like that. Prove to the people where you stand. But he obviously didn't see it or didn't care.
Well, I'm telling you, they did it in front of everybody. Look, it's 8 o'clock. Holt goes up. He's doing this. He's messing with it. He calls over technicians. He takes his jacket off. They replace it. He tests it. He sits down. They call him out. The thing's on. I mean, it's on video.
Well, now it's on video, but let me tell you this. You can bring it out. You can bring the video out showing it. You can put the article up right beside it where it says they're not supposed to have one. And what do you bet? This is how it's rigged, folks. The mainstream media will not touch it with a 10-foot pole. You'll never see it on the mainstream.
Oh, that's how I can tell when I've really put out something powerful. Total radio silence. No one will cover it.
Yep. Well, that's what we're up against, Alex. That's why I say it's up to us. We can no longer rely. Alex,
I hear you.
We can't.
Let's come back and talk about that with more callers. Sean in Florida, final comment, 20 seconds.
Hey, Jay, listen, if you go on CBS News on YouTube, it has it. It's 2 minutes and 21 seconds. At 19 minutes in, it shows him queuing, yet he couldn't hear. He's talking in
Sure. What's the name of the video? It's
the presidential debate, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, full debate, NBC News on YouTube.
NBC or CBS? NBC or CBS?
That was NBC News. And if you guys have it...
On YouTube, you're saying, and it's... Okay, yeah, no, it's right when it starts, folks. It's 3 minutes before it starts. We need it when we come back from break. Here's when he attacks Trump later.
Okay. Say it again? Repeat. Okay.
Now he unhooks it. It's not working right. Just like mine, he unhooks it from the back here. He takes the jacket off. The technician comes, puts a new battery pack on and transmitter, and then replaces his earpiece. He sticks it back in his ear. Here, it happens right here. And again, I guess they cut the audio because they don't want folks to hear this. They figure, oh my gosh, Lester's live right now. Because this was at 8 o'clock. I mean, it's supposed to be on. Everybody's watching. And this is the pool feed that came from the Associated Press, not from NBC. NBC had its reporters on big NBC. This is the feed we were watching, too. There were several of these feeds that you could dial into. And I was sitting here going, oh, he's having a problem with his earpiece. Because I could hear him going, test. No, it's having a problem. I can't hear you. All right. They take his jacket off. Is there still no audio? Go ahead and pump the audio up.
No, it's open. They cut his mic.
That's right, because they cut the mic. Okay, that's what I thought. And then he takes it off. And then they put the earpiece back in. They clip it back on his collar and put it back on. These people think we're such morons. And again, I'm busy. You're busy. I was watching it last night. It didn't click. Now listen, let's triple check this because maybe the debate commission changed its mind sometime late last week and said the moderator can have an earpiece. But they wouldn't respond to lawyers that sent them letters saying, hey, we covered this a few days ago, are you going to have a prohibition against earpieces for the candidates? After that whole controversy that we started by simply asking the question. So that's Tuesday, September 27th. Today, debate commission, moderators cannot use earpieces. Get off camera coaching. Now, are they saying that about the new debate coming up? Or are they saying that about the last one? Because I remember last week when they said no, that's Matt Lauer and Lester Holt. Won't be permitted. Wow, a huge controversy. And Paul Watson's about to come into the bullpen here, out of the bullpen, and this would be an article for him. Well, this is incredible. I guess we get a Don Salazar, somebody to write this, but my gosh, thanks to the caller. He called in to remind me, Larry, stay there. I want to come back and get your take on this. I know you got to go, and then I'm going to hand the baton to Paul Watson, but this is...
If you believe that the earpiece was simply to whoever they said it was to, you're crazy. Lester Holt has no computer in front of him. He had no way, Alex, to go with some of the fact checks questions that he came
That's right. They want to make him look like the authority when they've got a panel of 6 people in every area, military, economic, you name it, to give him the question, to give him the answer. And that's why he would listen and then look up and go, no, you didn't.
That's right.
And Trump would go, yeah, I did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you one other thing. If you want to verify to yourselves that this thing was totally rigged, there is no way, Alex, an honest debate moderator could have gotten through that entire debate without bringing up the emails in Benghazi.
That's right.
No way. No.
So that proves it right there. That's proof of the rigging right there.
That is. I mean, you don't need to see anything else. You don't need to hear anything else. When they block those subjects, you have proof that somebody was blocking information that needed to be talked about. Those are the key issues with Hillary Clinton. Her truth about the emails. And then even when Donald Trump brought it up, Alex, he didn't pursue it. He didn't say, well, Ms. Clinton, what about those emails?
So bottom line, it was totally rigged. What do you expect of the next debate then? And I guess Fox is hosting.
It'll be rigged. It'll be rigged. The only thing that I would hope to be different in the next debate, Alex, is I hope Trump will listen to people that know the Clintons. You got to know how they are going to fight you. And they're going to hit you with everything from every angle there is. You got to be able to fight it. And Trump's got to do what Ronald Reagan did back in the 80s. All right. The media is blocking him. The media is shutting down everything. The debate is the one chance Donald Trump has in front of a good-sized audience, and the audience size will drop.
That's right. He's got to cut through with his real message and say, the media's never let me talk. They've distorted what I've said. Oh, whatever, lady, you're a liar. I was nice to you last time.
That's right.
Just, you're done. Sit over there, commit more crimes. And just ignore them. Ignore the moderator. Just like I did with Piers Morgan. He needs to steamroll him, correct?
Correct. And remember, he sat back and he was nice to Hillary. I'm going to call it that. Nice to Hillary, this debate. Every word out of that woman's mouth was cutting him. And she was saying statements that were 100% not true. She was quoting things that people had said that nobody's ever even heard of. Several of the people even heard doing recaps of it. The things she said Trump had said about certain genders and everything else, they had never heard of that.
And the media's not going to fact check her on that.
Nope. No. So he's got to go in and he's got to realize, hey, I'm surrounded by the enemy. And when you're surrounded by the enemy, a situation to which I have been in many times, not many, but a few times, too many, when you're completely surrounded by the enemy, here's what you do. Start shooting. Just start going. Just let them have it. Let them have it. And then if people think he's not presidential, then, you know what, Alex? I don't want a president that's going to take this kind of cheating and this kind of rigging. I don't want somebody that'll live. No, like I hear you.
Absolutely. But the media so hated he still won it because it was so staged. But it could have been a bigger victory. I agree with you. Larry, we'll talk to you soon. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
I'm going to come back and briefly talk to Paul Watson about the incredible removal of Michael Savage, second biggest talk show in the world, off of the air yesterday for talking about Hillary saying she may have Parkinson's. This is very dangerous. The doomsday clock towards total tyranny just moved closer to midnight.
The future is bleak if we, as a nation, don't change something.